Anne Mitchell joins us now. I can't quite believe it's the finale coming up, Anne. And I guess at the end of a run like this, it's always emotional.
Absolutely. It's very sad. I always think it's, for us, as actors, we're always saying hello and goodbye.
Yeah, exactly.
really
And you drop
sad.
into each other's lives for little periods and then...
Yeah, we make a family, and it seems like, for that time, a real family.
Yeah.
And then we say goodbye.
And we see there Valerie, Nurse Valerie and Elsie, they still have a relationship in spite of what has happened in their past. And it doesn't look like Elsie's terribly well there, it has to be said. You felt so strongly about how you were going to play this role.
Yes.
When you first took... In fact, it was kind of written for you.
Yes, it was.
Wasn't it?
Heidi Thomas wrote it for me.
Yeah, so do you feel a certain... I guess there's more responsibility almost, isn't it? Because you're handed this really quite important role within a very, very high-profile series.
I think it's all... each role is a responsibility. I think what happens when something's written for you is you're more nervous. You're very nervous to get it right.
And I suppose to live up to what the writer is wanting.
Yes, why she felt that I was the actor to play this.
There's a relationship between the two.
Yes.
And sort of extra poignant for you because you grew up not terribly far from Poplar, where Call a Midwife is set,
filmed.
and it was set in the 60s when you would have been at drama school.
Yes.
So it's a time that you know.
Absolutely. And especially these issues that Call the Midwife often brings up. I lived with my family. I mean, everybody in the East End here, to have an illegitimate child, was absolute stigma. And to have any more children when there was grave poverty, huge poverty, wasn't possible. So women like Elsie were known. And they were sought after.
Yes.
And to some extent revered.
Of course. I guess it would have just been whispers at that time,
absolutely.
she's in trouble or whatever the terminology would have been.
Exactly.
It wasn't an open discussion, certainly.
You only knew her first name.
So everything was very much backstreet.
Absolutely.
Under wraps.
Absolutely.
And so as you say, it's quite a big role to take on. And bearing witness to a time in history, I guess, allows you to make it come to life even more.
Yes, I wanted that very much. I wanted to fight, which Heidi had written, of course, fight Elsie's corner, why she was doing it. And her reasons weren't greed. They were real reasons to help. It was distorted in the end, but she actually wanted to help these women because she knew the repercussions and the difficulties.
Yeah. And taking on a strong role like that is something you have always welcomed. And I suppose it goes back again to how you've been brought up. You had strong women in your family.
Exactly.
You speak particularly about your mum, who was the strongest of strong.
Oh, absolutely. My mother, my auntie and my grandmother were all very, very strong women. And my mother was exceptional. She had to leave school at 13 to contribute, of course, to the family. But she was really smart. Not only was she beautiful, she was really, really smart.
Yeah.
Always thought out the box, my mum,
Smart woman, we should say. Exactly that. We talk about Call the Midwife, which is so huge, Anne, but and there's so many things throughout your career that we could sit here all day and talk about, but I've got to touch on EastEnders. It's their 35th anniversary, starting on Monday there. And that was such a part of your life as well that you look back on incredibly fondly.
Oh, very much so, very much so. I loved the character and I loved my time with EastEnders. I was thinking about it before I came on, to have 4 years security, 4 years of work was just amazing. Something few actors experience.
Absolutely, yeah. And you become such a household name doing a soap like that, don't you? It changes the face of what you do, I think, a little bit. Yes. Mind you, having said that, Widows started everything.
I was just going to say that started with Widows.
Yeah, and to this day, there isn't a day that passes you by where someone doesn't mention it.
No, absolutely. In fact, when I first went into EastEnders, I was stopped more as Dolly at the beginning, and then it became more Cora Dolly, and now it's Cora mainly, but with Dolly thrown in.
Yes, and a bit of Elsie and a bit of everything in there
exactly.
too. Yeah,
yes.
But of course, Widows did. There was a remake in 2018, which you were a part of.
Yes.
And they treated you royally.
It was absolutely
properly done. You were flown off. And
magic. I was flown to Chicago. My dressing room, my hotel room, was full of flowers from Steve McQueen, and notes saying, "We are honoured that you're with us." And Viola Davis was so warm and friendly, and it was lovely.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
What a wonderful thing to be part of.
Yes.
And as I say, we're still talking about it today. It just shows you the impact. These 18 million people watching it at one point.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just extraordinary.
Yeah.
Once you finished the filming with Midwife, you were straight on a plane and off to Spain.
I was.
And it wasn't on holiday.
No, it was to do a film called Dry River, and Spain was standing in for Mexico, and I play a Texan outlaw.
And so that involves a Texan accent.
Yes, indeed.
Which I'm guessing you mastered quickly.
Oh, I certainly tried to. I was partly learning it while I was playing Elsie. And I was
hoping it doesn't filter in.
I was very frightened that I might slip into it. But once I got in the dressing gown, it was different.
Yeah, got to focus a little bit. We see you on a horse there, and so you're riding a horse and all sorts in this, aren't you?
Yes, I rode, yeah.
Did you always do that? Was that something that...
I had to learn before she's out, the third series of Widows that wonderful Linda LaPlante wrote for me, and I had to learn to ride. It took me 3 months, but I hadn't ridden since then. So when I had to go and practice, of course, in England, and then be on a horse in Spain in a rocky terrain. You know, it was really...
there's just no stopping you, and I love the fact that you kind of just take it all on.
It's I don't want to stop.
No, gosh, absolutely not. It's such a delight to see you, Anne. Honestly, having watched you on the screen for all of these years, and to see you here, it's wonderful. And like we say, it's the final episode, Call the Midwife, on Sunday at 8 p.m. on BBC One.